This is LBC with Andrew Pearce.
Well, let's talk now to Robert Weiner, who's a former spokesman for the Clinton and Bush White Houses. He's now a National Democratic strategist and White House correspondent. Robert, evening to you.
It's great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me, Andrew.
No, a pleasure. Well, I suspect you're not surprised that Trump ends his first 100 days with pretty grim poll ratings.
Grim poll ratings, 17% approval of his health care bill, the health collapse, the Muslim ban proper collapse, the sanctuary cities proper collapse, the wall proper collapse, no infrastructure plan, even though that was a major thing that actually would get bipartisan support, budget cuts against colleges, housing, seniors, Meals on Wheels, and NIH research, and Russia colluding, more and more and more evidence where today Democratic leader Schumer said that it is not a hoax. It's a very real situation.
Are you surprised by how he's fared so far, Robert?
Well, just today he called Elizabeth Warren, again, the leading contender perhaps for the next Democratic nomination, Pocahontas. Keep in mind that until the Comey letter, Andrew, Hillary Clinton was substantially ahead, and Robbie Mook, the campaign manager, who spoke in the briefing room at the convention, which I ran at the Democratic National Convention, he was on television saying there was a 9-point switch in Wisconsin after the Comey letter. So he is president by the grace of God. It is not a real situation in terms of public support or even the Electoral College support. So the off-year elections can reverse this, and that is what Democrats are very strongly looking forward to.
And when do those elections come up, Robert?
Next November, not this November, next November.
Right.
But it's traditional that the off-party wins big, and it's only 24 seats that we need to flip in the House out of 435, and only 2 seats in the Senate that we need to flip. So there is a lot at stake, and you remember that Obama even lost his party's dominance in his first off-year election because of what he did on health. Now the entire country is against what Trump is doing on health and what the Republicans are doing on health. And Nancy Pelosi, the House Democratic leader today, said that the Republicans are going to be walking around with doo-doo on their shoes if they keep pushing this health reversal against the benefits that Americans now are totally in support of.
So Trump knows if he's going to lose control of at least one of those houses by a year in November, he's got to crack on and get things done and quick. And there's not much sign that's happening so far.
Well, you know, I kind of hope he gets a horrible health bill passed in his horrible Republican House, Andrew, because the Senate will sit on it, and then, as Pelosi said, they'll be walking around with doo-doo on their feet for trying to do it and get no benefit from it. What they want to do is they want to pull $500 billion away from people's health care and give it as tax breaks for the rich. That's what he's proposing, that one-page tax outline that Republicans are loving because it's all tax breaks for their contributors. And it takes it away from the middle class and the poor in their health benefits. So that's his proposal on that score, and people see through it, and they do not want changes in the health bill. That's going to kill him.
I keep reading in various publications, American publications, Robert, that people think he'll just get fed up with this and walk away after a couple of years. He won't, because he's very sensitive to criticism and he gets a lot of criticism, and he'll hand it all over to the vice president. What do I know? But I just have an instinct he won't do that.
Well, let me tell you what I think is going to happen. That's a theory that he'll walk away from it. I don't think so. I think it's going to be more like McCarthyism, and McCarthy, who Eisenhower made the rational arguments against, and he imploded by calling everybody a commie. You know, just today, as I said, he called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. He said McCain's not a war hero. You know, they grabbed the women by the you-know-what, all of that stuff. He's going to implode, and it's imploding more and more now with his dissing of every Hispanic or every judge. And so what's going to happen is that the demagoguery is going to get him, just like it did McCarthy. That's the pattern in American history.
Yeah, and I think the one thing we do know, even his admirers say, he's not terribly good at taking advice.
It's the last person in the room. On China, my God, the guy made a campaign. It was a legitimate issue, another one where Democrats would agree with him. But Chuck Schumer said today he was right on China the first time as a manipulator, as a stealer of intellectual property, of products, of tires that blow out, of dog food and baby food that kill. And they send that stuff to the United States, and they try to steal health research. So my wife was victimized by that as a cancer researcher. So, all of that, and Trump was right the first time, but he spends 10 minutes in a room. He said 10 minutes, and I realized that there's more to this. 10 minutes. He fuses the President of the United States' entire career of statements about trying to do what's right on trade and to correct things, because he had a point that NAFTA and CAFTA and all those AFTA trade deals were very unfair to American workers.
Well, Robert, you, as ever, it's great to talk to you. That's Robert Weiner. So that was the Democratic view of Donald Trump. And, of course, we heard the Republican view of Donald Trump, which wasn't very pro-Donald Trump either. So